What's up, guys? Rocky Tactics here. And I kind of wanted to wait a little bit to make this video because I feel like more important information is going to come out as soon as I get done with this video. As soon as I get done making this video and it goes up and it goes live, they're going to drop, the big reveal, the trailer for season 2. But this video isn't necessarily going to be all about content. There are just some things that I want to talk about going on with World War III that I think really, really need to be addressed with season 2. And there are some things that are being done prior to season 2 coming out that I think are really weird. I'm not sure why Farm is handling the content drop in this way, but it's really, really affecting the player base in a really, really bad way. And I mean that literally. I mean, the number that is, how many players are on the game is definitely being negatively affected as of recently. And I think I know why. And that's what I want to talk about. So, as of right now, I think World War III is sitting at around 300 concurrent players, which is insanely, and I mean extremely, extremely low. And I think I kind of understand why, and I think that this is a massive error on the part of the developers. I'm not entirely sure why it is that we're handling new content drops in this manner. The Battle Pass ended a week ago, going on 2 weeks at the time I'm recording this video, right? So we have no new content. They took the new content that we did have, that honestly a lot of the dedicated players have already unlocked, but the Battle Pass ended, it was on a timer, and they removed that content. That is now gone. So if you paid for that Battle Pass and you happen to not complete it, too bad, dickhead. It's gone. Fuck you. We don't care. We don't give a shit about any of that. That is how we're handling it. Not only are they doing that, but like I said, it has been going on 2 weeks now, with the only thing that has happened new in the game is that Farm took content away from the community. Okay, they took content away. In other games, such as, let's use Call of Duty, for example, very rarely do the player base have to wait extremely long for new content to come out once a season is done. Now it happens. It has happened before. Sometimes they have to delay seasons and stuff like that. And I can assure you it definitely impacts their player bases heavily when players realize that, okay, well, from this point on until I see new content coming out, the game is going to be bone dry. The game is going to be there's going to be no reason to play it. That is exactly what they will do. They will not play it. And we are seeing that on the Steam charts. We are seeing that. We are seeing the player bases dip down really, really low. Way too low for comfort, okay? So I just disagree with taking content away before new content is ready. If you're going to do seasonal, I have no problem with seasonal content. I have no problem with, the Battle Pass business model. It is a free-to-play game. And all of the stuff in the Battle Pass I actually thought was super cool. But we cannot have these big dead periods of time where less dedicated players are extremely bored, especially not in a game that, we don't have a super large community, right? So we need to keep players engaged. And I talked about this in my last video. There are things that happens, whether it's server instability or it's poor optimization, which isn't really a huge problem, or, before, which another problem that isn't really a huge problem anymore, which was really slow progression, right? So Farm fixes these issues that are kind of like barriers to the newer players and the more casual players continuously, but they always seem to reintroduce new ones. And this seems to be one of those times where now we're having these big dead spaces of time in the game where people are just saying, you know what, I don't even want to play because there's no point. I've already hit level 51 because we didn't get a level cap increase or anything for season 1. I don't feel the need to level up any specific weapons. There's only 2 game modes in the game as of right now, right? So there's no reason for players to be in the game for this period, this limbo state in between season 1 and 2. And this is something that cannot happen again. Okay, if we're going to take things out, we need to be ready to put things in. The next talking point. The next talking point is this. At the beginning of season 1, we had a large influx of players, okay? This happens all the time with Farm. We had a closed beta, and when people got tired of that closed beta and they cried and they screamed and they screamed and they said, give us the open beta, give us the open beta, give us the open beta. The player numbers dipped all the way into the ground until the game was damn near, like straight up damn near dead, straight up on life support, right? Open beta comes out, whoosh, big flood of new players, big flood of new players, returning players, even, the dedicated players are back. There's new players in, there's casuals from the closed beta are back in, right? Now, that is great. That's good, right? Getting new players. The problem for Farm has not been getting players. The problem has been keeping these motherfuckers, right? They cannot keep these niggas playing for nothing. I don't know. I happen to love World War III. I don't know if a lot of people are trying it out. Drop a comment or something and tell me what if you're a player that hasn't played much or played the game and didn't like it, or played the game, once and then just never really came back. Let me know why that is. I'm actually extremely curious. I have a couple of ideas, but I'm actually extremely curious why it is that players have such a hard time staying in and really being invested in the game. Personally, I really enjoy the game. But we have these big drops. So closed beta, we all cried and we said, give us the open beta. The game is dying. Why aren't you listening to us? You guys are going radio silent. And they went radio silent for a while. Open beta comes out. Boom. Players are in. Now, the players come. And this is what I'm talking about. We have these server stability issues. We have these technical issues that for some reason, I'm not a game developer. I do not understand any of this. But for some reason, Farm just cannot keep the game stable. Okay, we need a stable content drop. We need a stable release. So the open beta comes out and then people are having server issues. People can't play for it was 3 or 4 days. A lot of people just could not get into the game. Then they fix it, everything's fine, and then, the player numbers slowly dwindle down, and they go radio silent again. Now, I will give them this. Recently, they've not been radio silent. We will talk about some cool stuff they have been talking about and some cool stuff that they are going to add to the game for Season 2. They have been talking about content. They show us things. They have been doing that recently. But open beta is going through, and people come in, player base slowly dwindles back down, they go radio silent, and then eventually we get full release, right? We get full release, and then all these players, they flood in, and then, bam, they're hit with server issues. They're hit with, you can't get in right now, and they're hit with constant server maintenances. So the players that do get in, sometimes they get kicked off the servers, and then the servers come back up, and then they can't get in. And then the players that couldn't get in, get in. And, everybody is experiencing these problems. And then it does it again. Season 1 comes out, we get a big influx of players, and then boom, server issues. And a bunch of people have problems, and it turns new players away. And it puts a bad taste in people's mouths. We have to keep the game stable. The game has to work. If your first impression of the game is that the shit doesn't work the first time you play it, you're already, this is the dog shit free-to-play trash-ass Battlefield clone. I'm just going to go play 2042 till it's good. That's what people are thinking. I'm just going to go play Modern Warfare 2 even though that game sucks. Apparently all the first-person shooters suck. Right? So these are the things that people are thinking. So we have to keep the game stable for the Season 2 content drop. Okay? I'm sure there's a lot of... I've seen screenshots. We've seen a little bit of the new map. We've seen one of the new weapons, which we think is the Type 20, which is a Chinese assault rifle, another one, right? So or it might be Japanese. It's a Japanese. It's a Japanese assault rifle. I'm retarded. But we've seen some of the stuff. We've seen one of the new weapons. We've seen some of the new map. We've seen some of the new gameplay mechanics that are getting added in, right? We've seen some of that stuff, and it looks good. And I want new players to be able to jump in, and I want returning players to be able to jump right in and play the new update, okay? And I also want to be able to jump in and play the new update. But not everybody's like me. Not everybody's going to say, okay, well, I can't play today. You know, I'll hop on Undisputed, the new early access boxing game, or I'll play some Skyrim or some Fallout today. Or not everybody is going to do that. Not everybody's going to come back that second day. Not everybody is a dedicated fan of you guys farm, and we gotta give these players a reason to stay. My reason to stay is that I like you guys. I think you guys are great developers. I think you guys have great gunplay in your game. You have amazing, some of the best level design I've seen. You know, one of the most atmospheric first-person shooters that has been made in a while. Some of the best map designs that I've ever seen. All the maps are great. You know, the game is fairly balanced. That's another thing. None of the weapons are like extremely overpowered. We don't have any like balance issues. The cheating isn't a super huge issue that a lot of us more dedicated players thought that it would be. So you guys are doing a lot of good stuff, but a lot of the time when you guys drop new content for new players to come in, they just never, their first experience with you guys as a developer and with World War III, the game, is that it's unstable. It doesn't work. And that's one of the reasons that players just don't come back. They don't stay. But now that we're done with all the negativity, because that is what people love to see, I'm sure that portion of the video will be the most entertaining for pretty much all of you. Now we're going to talk about the good stuff. As I said earlier, there are some, clips of new things that are coming to the game. There are some screenshots, and that is what we're going to look at right now. So the first thing we're going to look at is the screenshot of the new assault rifle in the game, and it looks cool. And this screenshot came out before a clip that I'm going to show you later. And if you look in the background, it's like urban streets. It's like urban Japanese streets. And I think that is so cool. I thought the DMZ was super cool. I thought that was an amazing setting. And I think the cool, like the neon atmosphere, the cool neon streets of Japan is going to be absolutely fucking awesome. I'm totally on board with the themes of a lot of these maps. The Gobi Temple was cool thematically. DMZ is cool thematically, and whatever this new map is, I think is going to be extremely cool thematically as well. And we have some pretty cool ones, like the one in the gameplay. We got Moscow, awesome, cool, super cool representation of Moscow. Polyarny, which is like a Russian apartment complex, and like almost pretty much a Russian neighborhood, right? Super cool. We have a lot of that in the game, and I really enjoy that a lot of the time. The themes that they choose, 10 out of 10, and they always deliver with a great map design as well, something that plays really well. So I'm super excited for that. The next thing that they're adding to the game that is extremely interesting, I didn't expect this, but with Season 1, we got point shooting as kind of a tech. They like giving us these nice tactical additions. These things that are put in the game that kind of make the game, a neat feature in the game. Something that makes it feel a little more unique, something that kind of adds some sense of realism, but what it is like a down system, right? So, you got shitty ass Warzone, Call of Duty likes to do it a lot. You get shot, you go down, and one of your teammates can come and pick you up, which is interesting. I didn't expect them to add this to World War III because I felt like it would kind of mess with the integrity of, the kind of the hardcore aspect. I feel like World War III is like you get shot, you die. That's kind of like part of the, part of the game being a little more hardcore than your average, run-of-the-mill Call of Duty or Battlefield. It's not necessarily hardcore. It's pretty arcadey in a lot of senses, and it's not necessarily the most realistic game ever, but it has traces of tactical realism. And I'm not entirely sure how this feature specifically will mesh with the game, but I will keep an open mind. I think that if it works, it works. But if it doesn't, I will be one of the first motherfuckers saying it does not. But that's pretty much all I got for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. My next weapon guide will probably be on the DMG 9mm. I got a request in the comments. I don't exactly remember what the name of the viewer who requested it was, but I will put the comment on the screen. shout out to that guy that requested it. I'm working on it. I'm leveling up the weapon. It'll probably come out post the Season 2 Battle Pass coming out, because then I'll be able to use my double XP tokens and progress through the Battle Pass faster, unlock the new weapons in the Battle Pass a little bit faster while I level up the DMG 9mm and get gameplay for it. I have some gameplay for it, but I want to get more. So that will probably be the next weapon guide, and then I'll probably follow that by whatever the new weapons are. So probably that new assault rifle that was shown, and then something else. But that's all I got for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.